Hello and welcome to the second episode of my Star Citizen Tactics and Tips series. In this episode I plan to cover the two IFCS safety modes, ComStab and GSafe. I'll be going over what they do and what you can use them for. This will complement my previous episode and finish the coverage of flight modes at this time. Before getting into detail on the safety modes, it's important to state what exactly IFCS is. IFCS stands for In-Flight Control System. The developers of Star Citizen CIG have designed the game so that your ship is moved by a series of maneuvering thrusters, making the game 100% physically accurate as described by Chris Roberts. Total ship mass, center of mass, and size, power and positioning of maneuvering thrusters all affect how the ship turns and behaves. Note that taking damage, which can destroy some of your maneuvering thrusters, or shifts the center of mass by causing you to lose a section of your ship, will have an impact on your ship's handling. It is the IFCS which controls all these maneuvering thrusters on the ship, so that you can orientate your ship according to your inputs. This is required because no matter how skilled the pilot, separately controlling 8+ thrusters simply isn't feasible. Currently, in the Aurora and Hornet, you can see the output of each thruster on one of the displays, although at the moment this isn't too informative. So now that the IFCS is introduced, it's time to talk about the two safety modes, GSafe and ComStab. For information on decoupled mode, please check the previous video in this series. G-forces are simulated in the game. You experience G-force effects when you turn or accelerate too quickly, exerting a force on your pilot's body. Experience too much G-force and you will black out, losing control of your ship as shown on the screen now. GSafe limits your ship's movement to protect you from this. When enabled, your ship will not let you achieve greater than 2 head-to-toe Gs. It will also slow your turns, keeping you within the safety threshold. This mode also limits upward and downward strafing acceleration for the same reasons. When active, the ship loses some agility, but will stop you from blacking out. The second flight mode is ComStab. ComStab stands for Command Level Stability, and is a flight mode that influences turning when flying. As the ships are in space, they would naturally slide and drift when turning, unlike an atmospheric plane. ComStab slows the ship's speed when turning, making it easier for the thrusters to compensate, allowing for much smoother turns with less drift. When active, your ship will feel less slidey and more grounded. CIG have referred to this as a system akin to traction control. For both of these settings, they are crossed out on the screen when deactivated. You can find the key bindings for these settings in the options menu according to which input method you're using. The only real reason to disable these settings is to gain more direct control over your ship when in combat. Disabling both settings will mean your ship accelerates faster, turns quicker, and slides through space more noticeably. While this can be more disorientating, it makes your ship harder to hit by enemy weapon fire, as your flight path is harder to predict and your movements are quicker, while also increasing your ability to win up-close dogfights. Care must be taken, however, as it's really easy to black out when turning quickly with GSafe off, while deactivating ComStab will make your ship more prone to collisions when travelling through an asteroid field or around large structures. It should be noted that currently the thrusters expel a force that is about 33% the thrust of the main engine, according to the CIG developers. This is quite strong, and it's very possible this will change in the future, making safety modes even more important to control the ship. Different ships will find more use from disabling these settings than others. For example, comparing the Hornet and the 300i, the Hornet will get more use from disabling safeties out of the two ships. The reason for this is because the Hornet's thrusters are fewer in number to the 300i's, and also towards the centre of the ship. The 300i has more thrusters, 12 instead of 8, and they are spaced out further along the length of the ship. The result is that the 300i is already much more manoeuvrable out of the two, so it really wouldn't benefit from becoming even more manoeuvrable, at the sake of accuracy, as it can already outturn the Hornet in a dogfight. The Hornet, however, could benefit from the extra agility in an attempt to evade the heavy hitting on Nimsky cannons equipped by default on the 300i, and strike the exposed main thruster located on the rear of the ship. It's been said that future gameplay will possibly include further IFCS settings, which could alter flight modes in extra ways than there are currently. One more fact to consider is the power situation on the ship. If power is diverted away from thruster systems, i.e. to shields, or is being drained by energy weapons, then the thrusters have less power to operate on. This can result in the ship still sliding when turning at high velocities, even when constab is active. Future patches are promising better UI interface to monitor and divert power around the ship, which should make this sort of situation easier to understand. So that's a summary of the two safety modes. Remember, different ships will fly differently due to their mass and thruster layout, which means that these flight modes can have a greater impact on some ships than others. A large freighter will not be as easy to black out in as a nimble fighter. A ship will counter its sliding motion much better than a ship of the same mass equipping fewer or weaker thrusters. That concludes this video. I hope you found it enjoyable, useful or interesting. If you have feedback, please leave it in the comments below, as I'd love to hear what I need to improve. If you would like to see more of these, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.